What's up, gamers? Welcome to Two Dudes, One Game, where we play, review, and recommend new and old games. Today, we are reviewing Chained Together, a co op 3D platformer developed by Anagar Games. I'm joined by my co op partner, Salty. What's up, Salty? How are you doing?
Good. What's up? How you doing?
Dude, doing good. Let's talk about some Chained Together. Let's hear the list you got over there and what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we're gonna break down our review into five categories. Our level of enjoyment, how difficult we thought the game was, the replayability of the game, how creative the game is, and the value, the price of the game, and if we think it's worth it. Starting off with enjoyment, I personally enjoyed the game a lot, especially the first day, the first little bit of the game. It was, being so new. I felt like we were laughing pretty much the whole time. And then, laughter turns to despair, and next thing you know, you're straight faced. But I thought it was a ton of fun. I personally gave it an 8 out of 10. Um, but what did you think?
And I think when it comes to the enjoyment category, it was an easy 8 out of 10. And for anybody watching this, we give our own ratings and now we're just discussing them now. So our opinions are totally different. But this one is obviously the same. Yeah, so I give it an 8 out of 10. I don't know if you look at the screen right now, what the gameplay is like. This was like the very beginning of the game, and I think at this point we thought we didn't get like checkpoints, and like I was just having fun from thinking that if we fell, it was completely over. But as the game goes on, you like realize there are checkpoints, etc. But I thought it was easily an 8 out of 10 because there's just something different, like basically every step of this game. So that's why I give it that rating.
Yeah, they definitely didn't repeat too many different types of platforms or anything like that. And um, on the first day, you literally memed my face. I was laughing so hard and squealing. But yeah, it was definitely a ton of fun, and um, I'm glad that I played it with a duo because the next thing we're going to talk about is the difficulty. I thought it wasn't that difficult of a game, mainly because you got to retry everything. If you ever fell, you just click escape and go back to the highest unlocked point, I think it was called.
Hmm.
And that made it where no matter how difficult a certain spot of the game was, it once you got past it, you never had to do it again. So it's not like a
There are
like
definitely a
a
lot of
Dark
parts we
Souls
didn't get
game or
past
something
though.
like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There were definitely a lot of
Like
parts that
this one
took
on the
us like
screen.
5-10 minutes.
This one took like a
Yeah,
few attempts.
yeah. Sadly,
Sadly,
um,
that was definitely my fault. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was still under the impression that if we died, we were going straight back. So
Yeah, I personally rated the difficulty a 4 out of 10. I didn't think it was that difficult of a game, just
mm,
mainly because you got to try as many times as you wanted. Um,
ours are
what did
different
what did
then.
you think?
Yeah, I put 6 out of 10. Then that was just based off the fact that it took us 4 hours and somebody did it in like 45 minutes. So I don't know. I thought like certain parts were pretty difficult. A lot of these too, like I put in difficult parts, so hopefully more will pop up. Like I think we did this a bunch of times, but it's only clipped like maybe once that we fell. But it took like we were on this part for maybe 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and no matter, yeah, like
Like look at this part. Remember this part? I would also say in this part of the game, we didn't even know how to hook onto this thing. It was like a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
of
The thing
effort.
pops up to teach you how to do it only for a few seconds, and if you missed it, then you don't know how to hold on to it, and that took us a second.
But
Honestly, kind of embarrassing. Several of the parts that we got held up on, I would attest to like us not slowing down and not taking our time and figuring out what we needed to do. We were just like, oh, let's get through this as quickly as we can, like a Mario game, you know? Um, but that being said, once we were done with the game, I personally didn't have any urge to get right back to it on like say a higher difficulty or something like that. Um, our next category is replayability. Um, these little spiky things for some reason gave us more trouble than we should ever have had. But
I
anyway,
agree.
Yeah. For replayability, I think because they gave you the option of, I think there were three different difficulties, maybe four. And you could play it with anywhere from 2 to 4 players. And also, okay, this part took us way longer than it ever
Yeah, I know.
should
I was
have.
honestly
It was
putting parts that were hard because I knew you'd remember these. So
yeah, and like look how you're not smiling anymore, you know? Like we went from smiling to like, oh, this game
this is
kind of
annoying.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
That's a great point. I was like over it right here. This took forever. Cause yeah, like it looks like
yeah,
we're getting it done the
yeah.
first try, but we're not.
And then you didn't put it in, but right there we went up that log and then I fell off one of the logs after that and it made us do that part one more time.
At least we're smiling right
Which
here.
yeah,
First try.
that's a little bit of a like, oh, thank God we got through that. Oh
Oh
my
yeah, yeah.
God. This
See,
made
I
me
kept
want to
getting stuck like
this
this. This wasn't my
literally
fault though. It
I
just
right here
doesn't
was
let you do
wishing I was
anything.
underwater in real life right here because
Damn.
I was over it. This guy, for some
Dude,
reason, couldn't figure out how to swim through a hole. About made me want to stop being friends with him.
I think that's why
That's
this is
another thing
$5 though.
you gotta think
It's
about.
$5 because stupid stuff like this. Like I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. Like look at
Yeah,
my face.
swimming
Does it look like
backwards.
does it even look like I'm laughing? You know, like I'm dead serious when I was doing that, dude. Yeah.
But anyway, replayability gives you the different difficulty modes as well as being able to play with 2 to 4 players. And then also there's a closed chain and open chain. So if you're playing with 3 to 4 players, if you're playing with 3 players, a closed chain would make it a
Look at this,
triangle of
dude. I've
chains.
been dangling there for like 10 seconds. Like you can't pick me up. Sorry for interrupting
No, you're good. The closed chain with 3 people would be a triangle.
you.
Closed chain with 4 people would be a square. As opposed to if you see us right here with 2 people, it's just a line of chains, and that's what it would be with an open chain with 3 to 4 players. So just being able to play with all those different types of um, formats, I guess is a way to put it. Um, I guess you could justify playing this game several times with several different people, in fact. So, I personally gave it a 6 out of 10 on replayability. What did you
Mhm.
think?
I put a 4 out of 10. I think yeah, if we played it again, with like the goal to be to beat the next time, so that would make it fun. But I mean, watching it right now it makes me want to go play it. To be honest, like I kind of might put my rating up to like maybe like you had a 6 out of 10. Now just watching this back, thinking different ways we could
Yeah,
play it.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then also like if we found out a friend of ours had it and trying to
Yeah.
play it with 3 people, I would definitely consider giving that a shot. Um, but I honestly don't think anything would ever be the same as the first day that we played it because
Hmm.
we literally couldn't stop laughing. It was so fun. Um, but
I agree.
for our next category is creativity. Um, I personally rated it a 6 out of 10, but after thinking about it, I'm actually gonna lower my rating to a 4 out of 10. And that is mainly because Only Up is pretty much the same game, but it's a solo game, and so obviously there's no chain involved or other person. Um, but it's pretty much the same game. Maybe even a little bit more difficult, more challenging, which might make it more fun for some people. There were a lot more wild cards, like platforms disappearing and such. Um, but there was also another game released, I want to say like 5 to 6 years ago, something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it was you used a pickaxe to climb up a mountain and you were trying to get to the top. I feel like that kind of paved the way for games like this. So I wouldn't feel right giving this game as much creativity as I don't know, maybe the developers feel it deserves, but I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. What do you think?
Damn, dude, I gave it a 10 out of 10 just because every obstacle is so different. I thought it was pretty creative, but I guess I wasn't comparing it to other games because I've never played anything like this.
Yeah, fair enough. I actually didn't play Only Up either. It was so like heavy through my feed on pretty much every social media platform. It was showing up all over the place.
Hmm.
Um, that I feel like I played it through other people. perhaps. I saw other people getting so frustrated that I just knew it wasn't the game for me. This game
Mhm.
seemed a little bit less challenging, and it was only $5, so why not? Which brings us to value. Um, I think that pretty much speaks for itself. We're talking about if we uh, if we think the cost of the game is worth the enjoyment that the game brought, and I 1000% believe that this game is worth significantly more than $5 even. But for the price of $5, more than fair, extremely fun. I would recommend it to pretty much anyone unless they have anger issues.
Mhm.
But
So if you would pay an amount, like what's the most amount you would pay for this now that you've actually played it? Like I think I would pay at least
um
20 bucks. Like it was worth 20 bucks
so
of fun, I think.
yeah. So I could say that for the three, I think we beat this in 3 sessions. Not very long sessions, but like we said, we played it for 4 hours. And I mean, it's hard to say that for $5 an hour. You know, I mean, we had a ton
Yeah.
of fun for $5 an hour.
Yeah.
So I think $20 is a pretty fair assessment. If it were any more than that, knowing that I probably don't want to go back and play it again, paying more than $20, I would have a hard time justifying that. But yeah, for when you think of it on that level of like paying $5 an hour to go have fun with a friend for 4 hours, yeah, I definitely think it's at least a $20 game for sure.
Right on.
What are your thoughts on it?
The value?
Yeah,
Yeah, 5 out of 5. I think it's definitely worth even 20 bucks to play it. Um
nice. I like the idea going back to 5 out of 5, and you know, instead of doing 10 out of
oh,
10
my
like the rest
bad.
of the categories.
10 out of 10. I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 and yeah, I think it'll be interesting because like you said you felt like that game you played it by watching it online. I'm wondering if this game has really gotten to that point yet because there's really not that many Steam reviews. When we've posted on TikTok, it's still getting like a nice amount of views. So I wonder if this is really just like the beginning of this game's run, and if because at the end, I don't want to like spoil it, but I believe they're gonna keep building off of this game. So I don't know. They could probably keep getting $5 from people if they just expand another 4 hours, another 4 hours. Like the game, I think could have a lot of longevity that way.
Dude, I think even like releasing $1 or $2 DLC for this game with like a whole new map or a whole new game mode. Later on we're gonna talk a little bit about a couple ideas we had for the game, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. I could see it going both ways for sure, but I wouldn't mind seeing it become more popular. There's not a ton of games that people play nowadays. I feel like that, you can pretty much narrow things down to like a dozen games that nearly everyone plays consistently. But um, I don't think this game has a ton of longevity. And to be realistic, just because it's pretty simple and all you do is jump, and run. But um, yeah. So after compiling all of our ratings on the 5 categories, I averaged everything out to give our official rating on the game. And after considering the enjoyment of the game, the difficulty, the replayability, the creativity, and the value of the game, we gave it a 7.2 out of 10. So that's where we stand with the game. I think it's a fantastic game. And like I said, for $5, you definitely cannot go wrong. Um, but one more thing that we wanted to talk about are things that we think could improve the game or make it, you know, like Surfy mentioned, give it some more longevity. He mentioned maybe 10 times throughout playing the game that there should be some sort of versus mode. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yep, I think if this game you could log on and you could link up with two other people around the world and you guys had to race to the top. I think that would be more exciting for me personally because I enjoy PvP. I mean, this is fun, but if you added like a competitive nature to it with somebody like right next to you and you see them fall, I think that would be really funny. Just to see them fall while you're like neck and neck, and then maybe they catch up because you fall, etc. I think that'd bring a good like more variety to it. And because right now you're basically just competing against people on a leaderboard. Because I think the fastest was around like 44 minutes or somewhere around
I
that
think it
time
was
frame.
46. Yeah, you're
Okay.
like right there. I think it was like 46 if
But
I remember correctly, but
if you could play like side by side and try to beat somebody rather than just playing the leaderboard, I think it's just a different experience.
yeah, I definitely agree with you. And like one thing I had mentioned when you brought it up while we were playing, if they did that and like made it where it was hell to the city or the city to heaven, where you're playing like a third of the game, so that you have the potential to beat it in 15 minutes, 17 minutes, as opposed to like potentially falling several times, and then this race ends up taking an hour and a half or 2 hours. Um, I think that would be more desirable for most anyone because not too many people could sit there and race for 2 hours. But yeah, I definitely like the idea of a versus mode for sure. Both in like both 2v2 and 4v4 I think would be fantastic. Um Another mode that you talked about a couple times is like a hardcore mode, like
Hmm.
a mode without resets or without going up to your highest unlock point and trying to beat the game literally without falling. Um do you have anything else to go on that?
Yeah, I think it would definitely just add. I think it like a more variety, like I was talking about. I think like just having that would it makes it like I said, just a different experience because thinking you're about to fall off, you're gonna play the game in a totally different way than like sometimes we just keep going and going. Like we'll go 4 times, right? But like imagine every time you only got one chance. I think it would add a different aspect. And in terms of like even when the way you feel, I guess when you're playing it.
Yeah, that also resonates with the versus mode for me too. Like knowing that okay, we can like try and sprint through this and try and gain some ground, or we could take
Yeah.
our time and like secure our lead. Um, I think yeah, that would play into both of those modes honestly. But
Hmm.
yeah, hardcore mode would be gnarly on this game.
Yeah, they just add those two things. I think the game would be a lot more playable in the long term, which they could be. You
Yeah,
never know.
definitely.
Or they could just take their $5 and like the like I don't know 20,000, 30,000 people that downloaded it and go build another better game. And on that note, that concludes our two dudes one game review on Chained Together. $5 in the Steam shop. Go check it out. We'll see you next time. If you made it to this 18-minute mark, wherever we are, we appreciate you. Make sure you check out the TikToks into the description. We post on there pretty often. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time.